Hi guys, it's Suri, so welcome back to my channel. If I look a little bit sweatier and more disheveled than in my last video, even though you can clearly tell I'm filming these on the same day, it's because I just had to go get vaccinated. Here's the proof, and it's really hot outside. I didn't expect that. Whew. It was really cold for the longest time, and now it's suddenly summer again and we're just expected to deal with it. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing my July book haul. I actually wanted to not buy as many books in the last month, and I tried, but I failed. But this is gonna be the last book haul you'll see for a while, because after this I really have to stop. Like, it's not even a joke anymore. I know I say this every time, but this is it for now, okay? We need a break. So first, I'm gonna show you a couple books that, like 6 books that I got in Amsterdam. If you haven't seen my Amsterdam vlog, I will link it in the cards. I did show these books briefly, but I don't think I gave you a synopsis, and I just wanna like haul them in a normal haul setting. So I'll just go through them quickly, and the first one I've actually already read, and that is Euphoria by Lily King. This is a historical fiction novel loosely based on Margaret Mead and her husband and companion, or 2 husbands. I think like they both were her husbands at some point, I don't know. And this is set in 1930s in New Guinea and follows 3 anthropologists. 2 of them are a married couple, and the third just kind of meets them, and it's some sort of a love triangle kind of develops there. And I thought it was really great, and you can hear my thoughts on it in my June wrap-up. Next, I have the book I'm actually currently reading and really enjoying so far, surprisingly actually, and that is The Boys on the Bridge. Just meshing 2 titles together that have nothing to do with one another. The Boys from Brazil by Ira Levin. If that author sounds familiar to you, it's probably because of Rosemary's Baby or The Stepford Wives. Both books have been also turned into movies, so they're like horror thriller type stories. And this follows a group of Nazis around Dr. Mengele 30 years after the Second World War. They kind of want to bring about the Fourth Reich and do so by like a really strange method. And then we also follow Jakob Lieberman, who is a Nazi hunter, and he basically kind of uncovers this plot and tries to prevent it and tries to find out what's behind it. So far I'm really surprisingly enjoying it. I have definitely found that I've burnt myself out on Second World War stories, and I've just read too many of them and seen too many movies, and it's just a really harsh subject. But this being said, so many years after the war, it doesn't really deal with war calamities as much anymore, so it's a little bit easier to read in that sense. And I just also find it really interesting. This book came out in the 70s, I think, at the time that it was written. Mengele, who was an actual person, if you didn't know, was still like on the loose, so this is, for the people of the time, this must have been an actual like fear that he might come back and do something like this. So I think that's a really interesting aspect when looking at this book. Yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'll let you know what I think of it once I finished it. I'm about halfway through right now, and so far it's pretty good. Next I got The Green Mile by Stephen King, another horror book, obviously. I haven't read anything by Stephen King in a while, I think since the beginning of the year, so maybe this will be my next read by him, who knows. This is obviously set in a prison, and it's also been turned into a very famous movie that I also haven't seen yet. So it's literally the best sort of setup for me to you know, get to know these stories and then hopefully watch the movie after. The next book is another historical fiction. That's The Courtesan by Alexandra Curry. This is set in 1881 in China, and it follows a young girl, very young girl, that is sent to a brothel and eventually becomes the courtesan, I think, of the emperor, and then things go from there, and she actually somehow ends up in Vienna, I think. So I think that's really interesting. I'm not sure, I think there's a movie called The Courtesan, but I don't know if it's based on this particular novel. It's not the most like unique title, obviously. So I don't know, but I'm very excited to read it. I love the Chinese setting, and if you have read this book before, definitely let me know what you thought of it. Second to last, we have pretty much a wild shot. Like, I've never heard of this book before. I just saw it and thought it sounded kind of interesting, and that is Alice by Christina Henry. The tagline of this is "Beware the claws that catch Alice." And this is, I think, a horror type retelling of Alice in Wonderland, which I haven't actually read the original. I do own it, so maybe I'll read the original before this somehow. And lastly, on my Amsterdam trip, I picked up The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. I've been meaning to buy a John Wyndham book for ages. I think he writes kind of weird stories, and that's kind of like his genre, and I just like wanted to check it out. So this is about a village in England where a mysterious object appears one day and then everyone falls unconscious, and when they wake up the object has disappeared, but all the women in the village have become pregnant. Now if you think alien invasion, then that's probably it. The children of these women grow up very quickly, they're very different from all the others, and that's kind of where the story takes off. So I'm really excited to read this. I hope I enjoy it. It's a very short novel, so I'll hopefully get to it very soon. And if you have read John Wyndham before, definitely let me know what you think of him. And that's it for this sort of more obscure books that I've picked up. And now we're getting into some more generic ones. Generic is a bad word, but like some more popular ones, I should say. The first is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. This is a shortlisted book from the Women's Prize for Fiction for this year that I've been having my eye on for a while, and I just adore this cover, so I decided to get it. It's about this young woman that gets accepted into Harvard, I think, and then just struggles with life there, and apparently, I guess, feels that she might be an idiot. So I don't know more than that. It sounds interesting, and I'm excited to get to it. Then I also got God's Grave by J. Christoph. This is obviously the sequel to Nevernight, which I adored. I read it about 2 months ago, and I loved it a lot. I have forgotten a lot of the plot already, which I've said before is kind of weird, so maybe I'll have to reread Nevernight already and then dive into God's Grave, but I'm definitely really excited to get to this one. Okay, and then actually we're almost done with the haul because I just have like 7 more books to show you, but those are a bit more self-explanatory, and if you follow me on my Instagram stories, then you might have already seen these. Basically, my boyfriend had given me a voucher for a specific gift at Christmas, and we never got around to actually like redeeming it, and so it wasn't like an official voucher. He just like said, I'll get you this thing. And then like 2 weeks ago I was in a huge Harry Potter craze, and I was saying like how much I wanted to reread Harry Potter, but I didn't own the English books, so I needed to buy them, but they're like 50 bucks, and the like box is like 50 bucks, and I didn't want to get it for myself and la-di-da. And he was like, well, if you want, I can just get it for you instead of the thing I was gonna get you. And I was like, actually, I've already thought about that, but I didn't want to ask because that would have been a bit too presumptuous, but I think it's really cool of him. So, yes, you've guessed it, I have indeed gotten the entire Harry Potter box set of these beautiful paperbacks in English, and I was this entire time, if you see me like messing around with something, I was trying to put this back in, but I don't want to ruin anything because it's really hard to like squeeze it in, so I just didn't. That's really heavy. Let me show you the individual books. So the first is obviously Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I love these covers, they're so pretty. Then we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, the enormous one that is the Order of the Phoenix. I'm really nervous about like breaking these spines. I'll have to be real careful. Half-Blood Prince, and obviously the Deathly Hallows. So it's been absolutely ages since I've read any Harry Potter books and even watched the movies, and I honestly found that when I started thinking about it, that I'd forgotten so much of what happens in like the later books, because when I was a kid I would reread the entire series over and over again, but at that time not all the books were out yet, so I would read like maybe the first 4. I think the 3rd book is probably the one I read the most. I'm pretty sure when I counted I got to like 13 times of having reread it, which is, you might think, ridiculous, but at the time I just didn't have anything else to read. And I would literally start the first one, read all the way through as many as I had, and then start over again, because why not, I guess. So you might think that those are engraved in my memory, but somehow I even don't remember that much of the first. I mean, I remember like the general stuff, right? I do, but I just wanna like re-experience it, and I never thought I would want that, but somehow I got the craving and now I can finally fulfill it, and I'm so excited to dive into this one as soon as I'm finishing up a few current reads, and I really can't wait. I'm so excited. This is gonna be an awesome summer. I can already tell. And that is it for my July book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of the books I showed in this video, and if you have read any of them before yourself. Please give this video a huge like if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you then. Have a lovely week. Bye!